Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Broden Kreitler. Whether you're a diehard sports fan or love the thrill of competition, we've got the latest highlights, breakdowns, and stories that keep sports fans on the edge of their seats. Let's jump into this week's episode. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm here with Alex Basler from the Varsity Boys Basketball.
Welcome. Glad to be here.
All right. Well, first question here. We got being about halfway, a little over halfway through the season. What were your expectations for this season?
Well, we always have high expectations going into the year, but, of course it was my senior year, so I had higher expectations. Not saying that they're not going like I planned, but, it's been pretty good. Right now we're 8-4, coming off a good win versus Arcadia Valley, so, just trying to stack the wins. But as far as the expectations, I had high hopes, and I feel like we've done a good job of executing those early on here, midway.
Mm-hmm. Things change in the season. What are some of the things that we maybe need to improve on as a team?
Well, that's a tough question. We lack, I think, some games, certain things. I think it's not all the same thing. Some games, our defense has been all right this year, but it's been very up and down. Turnovers are not really that big of a problem, but, you always want to limit those. You always want to try to get a chance to get a shot off, which is always key. You don't want to give the other team more shot attempts. But really our defense and just executing on offense and being consistent. I think that's some of the things our coaches like to preach, being consistent and keep trying to stack the wins, keep trying to stack our consistent play. So
yeah, I feel like a lot of the games and most of our losses have been just defensive mainly. We wouldn't come to play defensive wise, and we would give up a lot of turnovers. Just stuff like that, like things that we can control defensively. I feel like a lot of our losses are because of that.
Yeah, it's also, the offensive end, some games too, we've lacked to score points in some of our losses. A couple of them I can count. We've lacked to score a decent bit, which, but if you play good enough decent defense, that should take care of itself, and enough points should be enough points to win the game no matter what. So we can always improve in both ways, though.
For sure, yeah. Well, how would you describe this team's chemistry at this point in the season?
Well, we're very high vibes a lot. I feel like we're very, we're pretty close together. I know our coaches preach that chemistry, and I feel like a lot of us are good friends, and none of us hate each other, which is very nice. So yeah. We're all very good friends, so we have pretty good chemistry, especially out on the court. It can get frustrating sometimes, but I think we do a good job of staying together and just pushing through no matter what. If it's a tough game, if it's an easy game, no matter what, we're celebrating guys. So
what were some of your goals leading into the season?
Well, I didn't have too many goals. Of course, I want to try to win as many games as possible. I'm very team-orientated, and that's, at the end of the day, that's the only thing I'm going to remember when I leave here is, our team success. So just to see how many wins we can have, and trying to make some, obviously, try to make some noise in the Christmas tournament, but that didn't end up happening. But, that's all right. But we're going to try to make some noise here in conference, and then when it gets to district, we'll try to make some even more noise because, that's when everything's going to come to play, so we gotta be ready, especially later in the season.
That's what everybody looks forward to. I know I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be tough playing at Potosi. You have any thoughts on that?
It's we can't control it, so we just we'll play wherever, so
yeah,
it's going to be a tough district, but again, if we got to play them here, we'll play them here. If we play them there, we play them there. No matter what, we're going to come out and play. So
yeah. How do you think the practices translate to games?
It takes a big jump from practices into games sometimes, just because of the intensity and what it matters more in a game. But I think especially the day before game is the practices that really truly matter. Not that all practices matter, but the ones that you're truly prepping for whoever team you're playing for, and maybe you're going a little bit softer, but you're prepping. It's more mental, and I feel like that's the more mental practices are the ones you really need to lock in and focus on the most. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I feel like the coaches do a really good job of preparing us, and even 2 days or the day before of just really making sure we're locked in and focusing and having a strict practice is really good for us to scout the other team and be prepared.
Yeah, our coaches do a good job of scouting the other teams, and also a lot of us players watch a lot of film on other teams. So, every single game we go into, all of us coaches and players are prepared for whatever's at stake.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of prepared, how does the team prepare, pre-game, or do you guys have a pre-game routine?
Well, you know this. We don't do much. Yesterday we played music a little bit, but before the game, but not really. I feel like everyone's kind of in their own world a little bit before the game, and we're all friends. But when it's pregame, you know who to mess with and you know who not to mess with. I like to try to keep the vibes high a little bit, just because I think some people you get too into the game sometimes that you kind of try to enjoy what it's all about, having fun with your boys and just enjoying the journey. That's what that's what you're really going to remember. Like when we're done here playing, like you're going to remember the journey with these guys, and that's what really matters. And I think that's something that I try to do, especially, is just enjoy the time I have with these guys and just try to make the best of it.
Yeah, I feel like, on bus rides or if it's a home game, everybody's really relaxed and we're just kind of having fun, hanging out, waiting for game. Obviously, when we step out for pregame warm-ups, and
it's a different story from there. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you know who to mess with, you know who not to mess with, especially when you get down into the locker room before. And also depends on the stakes of the game. If it's no offense, but if it's like a regular season game compared to like a district game, it's got different stakes.
Sure, so, who would you say is the funniest person on the team and why?
Oh my, this is it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with my boy Noah Kurtz as a freshman, just because this guy is he's funny. He's a walking jokester, and the stuff he does sometimes on the court will make you laugh. I also give a shout out to Broden and Parker Stomberg, because they both can be pretty funny sometimes. We all keep the vibes high, but when people are showing you different reels and videos through when you're on bus rides and sitting in the bleachers, it's just pretty funny. And it overall, like I said, that's the stuff you're gonna remember when we leave. So,
and I feel like that just joking around with your friends, that also translates to pre-game and just how the vibes are, is we're just having fun. And
I like to. Like I said, I like to keep the vibes high, and I think it also creates a little bit of energy as well. You don't really want to go into a game knowing that, like, the vibes are down, like, hey, we might lose. Like, it's good to, like, keep it high, keep it kind of funny a little bit, and just enjoy the time you have with each other.
So, what would you say is your favorite pregame song?
Pregame song? Oh, my gosh. Artist or...
you could do artists.
Artists? Well, I'm not. I actually am a more like chill pop guy. I'm actually not like, I know a lot of people are a rap or a
something hype.
I'm more of like a chiller country guy, I would say. Let me give you a song. Maybe like I like Billie Jean. If you know, you know. Billie Jean. It's a vibe song, and if you've never listened to it, I advise that you go on your local Google app right now, look it up, and listen to it on your way home or whatever you're at right now, because it's a great song. So that's probably one of my pregame songs I have.
Very rare to find a chill guy. Like a lot of people I know. I'm a hype. I like listening to hype songs just to get you hype. But
yeah, I like it. It's not that I'm not trying to like. I know a lot of what you're saying is like hype kind of gets you locked in a little bit more. Not saying I don't, but I think the chiller is more the side of me, like, hey, just trying to have fun, like enjoy the times I'm here. Every game I get is an opportunity. It's a gift from God. So just trying to take advantage of that, and I'm very appreciative.
So, what leadership role do you feel like you've stepped in the most this season?
That's a good question, because I came into this year knowing that I need to take a step in leadership, because I haven't. I've been playing not to toot my own horn, but I've been playing varsity for the past 3 years. So I've had a lot of experience around some great leaders. So I know what it is to see great leadership, but I've never really done it myself. I've been kind of like a follow by example guy. So I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone a little bit this year, talking to the guys a little bit. Just trying to do that extra step a little bit that I haven't done in the past, even though, I can, but I've been trying to do a little bit more this year for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like, everybody on the team always has something to say, it's not just your main, guys that are always talking. I feel like it's everybody, even in practices and games.
Yeah, everybody has their own leadership role. No one's limited when it comes to leadership. Everyone thinks it can be seniors, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. They're just the ones that a lot of people look up to and kind of expect that out of you. But yeah, I think all of us do a good job of leadership. But I've been trying to take a step higher a little bit in that this year, and I think I'm doing a decent job at least. We're 8-4 so far, so I like, we can't be complacent with our record, but we've done a pretty good job, but we got to build off that. So,
well, looking into the second half of the season, what would you say is a couple or maybe just one big thing the team needs to clean up on or change maybe?
Well, we need to try to. Well, we just went on a 3-game losing streak. We need to try to avoid those. We're going to be playing at home. We got 4 games at home after our game at Potosi on Friday. So, just try to get the crowd behind us, get out to early leads, try to put teams down early. So I think that creates a lot of energy. We saw last night we did a good job of that, putting Arcadia Valley kind of down early in the third quarter, and that really helped us. I think we need to continue to do that. Continue to come out and hopefully hit some threes. That really brings our energy up a lot.
Definitely brings up our energy.
Yeah, we hit a lot of threes, get some and ones, try to get some easy buckets, and just play defense too. We need to play a complete game. I think when we can play a complete game for 4 quarters, we're a really good team, and we're hard to beat.
Then there's been a lot of times that it happened really big against Hillsborough in the Christmas tournament. Is whenever we only show up for 2 quarters.
Yeah, that
really puts us down.
Yeah, that's something that consistency I talked about earlier. We need to, like I said, play 4 quarters, play the way we know we can, because we beat some really good teams this year. Like, we've seen the potential. We've gone into some crazy environments and won. So, we've won at home. We've won on the road. We can do it both ways. We just got to be consistent, and I think that's going to be really key down the stretch, especially with you're getting into the season, fatigue's going to hit. You're going to have bumps, bruises. You just got to play through those, and sicknesses as well. I know that's been going around a little bit. So we just got to play through those and be consistent.
Yeah. Well, looking into this game Friday against Potosi, what are you kind of excited for?
Well, I'm excited to play another game, obviously. That's a big opportunity for us, but it's a conference game. We don't like to take any game bigger than the other one, but this game has a little bit more high stakes. We know what they are. They're a really good team. They only have 2 losses so far coming into our game Friday. I know they play today too, but they only have 2 losses when we're recording this. But it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be high stakes. There's going to be a lot of energy in the stadium, which are always the best games, and it's going to be pretty hyped. I'm excited, but they're a really good team, so it's going to be a tough game.
For sure, definitely one we have to lock in on, and like we said, come there ready to play and play all 4 quarters consistently.
Yeah.
So, what has been your favorite moment or game this season so far?
Well, obviously one we've won is one of my favorite moments, but I think I'm actually going to go with the R7 Jefferson game when we played there. I think that's, that game sticks out to me just because I think it took a full team effort. That was that was our first game going on the road and playing a team, at their place in the regular season. So we knew what we were going against. They're a really good team. They got some really good players and a really good coach. So we had to bring our A game that game, and not everything went our way, but we ended up pulling through and getting the win, and that was big for our Christmas seating and just our overall vibes. And then, like I said, we went on Friday to beat a really good Hayti Indians team they're gonna compete for a Class 2 title this year. Like, they're really good. If you're from down south, you know how good Hayti is. So I think that Jefferson game was really big on building off that and continuing throughout the week.
And I feel like, you just talked about beating Hayti and beating both those teams in 1 week. I feel like that just brought our momentum up so much and realized how good we can be.
Yeah.
Whenever we're playing good.
Yeah, when we when we play good, we're really hard to beat. So we just got to continue to do that throughout the year, and then see where we go from there.
I got a couple funny questions here for you. If you could play with any NBA player in history, who would it be and why?
That's good question. Well, I'm obviously going to pick Steph Curry not because just his play on the court, but I think he impacts people off playing with him as much as him doing the scoring. I think he's just a guy who, when you're around him, I've never been around him, but I've heard teammates of Curry's talk about him, and I think that when you're just around him, it makes you a better player, but also just a better person. I think he's a great human being, so I think just being around him and being able to play with him would be like the highlight of my life.
I knew you were going to pick him, but well, looking into I guess the rest of the season, what are some of your expectations going forward?
Well, obviously we got still a lot of conference games left. We talked about Potosi, but we got Fredericktown after that, and North County, Central. Those will all be at home, but we gotta handle our business. Win some games. That's obviously the main goal. Create some vibes, create some energy, and hopefully create a good enough stretch to where we can head into the conference tournament playing pretty well, and then head towards the end of the season, which is only a month away. Really, until district's time, about a month and a half. So hopefully we need to be playing our best ball later in the year and go from there. Yeah,
I feel like, coming off this kind of road trip, I guess you could say, we haven't really had a home game in a while, that we have, I think it's 4 in a row right at home.
Yeah.
That hopefully, and we'll have our crowd there with us. Hopefully we can pull out some good wins there and kind of get some more momentum back. As you were just talking about, we've been on a 3-game losing streak as it ended last night against AV, but that would be a good way to find some momentum.
Yeah, for sure. And, just to keep enjoying the journey is what I'm going to be doing myself for sure, just because, it's my last year. It's all I got left. It's the final sport. I don't play a spring sport. So continue to enjoy this journey with my guys, because, again, that's what I'm going to remember when I leave, is the funny moments and the stuff I do with the guys in between practices or after games, or just when we're, having fun, playing around, just whenever. I'm going to enjoy those moments and keep doing that throughout the year.
Well, thank you for being on this podcast today here with me, and best of luck this season and to the basketball program.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this week's podcast. Thank you for listening and tuning in. If you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to go check out our one-stop shop website for future sporting events, rosters, blogs, sponsors, and live broadcast. To get there, just look up sghssportstream.com.